What's the deal? It's your boy Moody here with yet another G.I. Joe Classified series ranking and review video. Today we've got the retro carded Beachhead Cobra EEL and the Snow Serpent. But let's not hesitate. Let's rip open these card backs and make many a MOC collector cry. All right, diving into number 3, it's the Cobra EEL. Taking a nice closer look at the face. They're the same, just different color. Again, it feels like maybe the black is a slightly touch darker. Could be the lighting on the classified version. Right there on that, almost like a chest overlay plate there that would connect his suit, is a duller gray on the left and a brighter gray on the right. And then the reds, it's more of a cherry, kind of like the retro Crimson Guard, but the red on the right isn't as dark as the classified Crimson Guard. So that would have been nicer to make more of a distinction. It's almost too similar in the paints. Just looking there, the shoulder pads. See, so nice gray. So when it comes to the wrist gauntlet, it's the same, except as you can see, the grays and the reds are just slightly darker on the right, but it looks like the scanning device has the same color and everything. All the way around, you can see, again, legs on the right are darker, and we have the same knife sheath and everything like that. All right, jumping into our accessories, we've got the retro Cobra EEL, at least the logo, but it's the same exact backpack, which is a major problem. We all know it by now. It didn't come with this. You know, this would have been a tooling cost for Hasbro. They wanted to just get some Cobra EELs out ASAP, but this is Mark II design. Marker with just incredible work. Awesome retro backpack. Just, this would have made this figure a perfect 5. And of course, we've got his retro gun, which we did not get in either one of them. See this right here? This is the EEL. This is the EEL. This is what we want. This is a perfect 5 out of 5 classified up retro Cobra EEL. And here's a comparison on how the Cobra EELs look with their breathing masks on. Yeah, they're just following suit with the grays that match on the suit. Then you get the retro face scan, which is lighter, so it's a little easier to see through the mask, where the darker face is a little tougher. But at least it adds some, you know, the being classified and dark almost works, where everything is more, you know, retro 80s, big colors. It kind of works in that respect. And in case you are curious about the flippers, they are pretty much the same. I think the classified ones were just slightly gummier, almost pretty much the same. I mean, we're talking like a couple percent gummier, but just based on the feel, it feels a little gummier. These feel a little more stiff, but not much of a difference. Their flippers are supposed to be a little loose anyway. And comparing some of the weapons, the good news is we're getting stronger weapons. So we got the retro there. Of course, it's a brighter red, and it's got a much better quality than this gummier knife that you can almost bend in half at will. Same for the spear gun, the harpoon. This was pretty flimsy, not terrible, but, you know, sort of like Torch's blowtorch there. But this is actually really strong. This is the quality weapons we should get moving forward, when Lenny was talking about getting those strong weapons all the way up till the end of this year or next year, or during our interview. But yeah, and you could see we got a blue handle as opposed to red. So, you know, same weapons, not the retro weapons. That's obviously a major bummer there, but at least they're getting stronger. So, interesting note is I tried to put this retro classified backpack onto the classified fig, and actually the peg is different, so you may have to Dremel it down. I'm having a hard time. I tried on both of my regular classified, and it's almost there. You could probably throw some blue tack on the back. And so what happened is I got the Mark II design retro Cobra EEL pack. I might as well put it on the retro figure, and it's actually super loose. So obviously when Mark did the dremeling, it perfected for the classified, but now that it's retro, it's loose. So you're going to have to use blue tack on both. What a pain. Of course, we got our comparison between my retro Cobra EEL with the retro weapons, courtesy of Mark II design, next to the classified eels with the classified weapons and so forth. But what a difference, right? With that just mega big retro backpack and the accurate gun. I mean, look, the retro line should be as close to retro as possible, period. I mean, yeah, cost, budget, blah, 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 blah. If they wanted to get more of these eels out there because they sold out fast on Amazon, I am not insensitive to that, but they could have just re-released it. They could have just re-released the Amazon one and put it on Pulse, Entertainment Earth, and Big Bad Toy Store and everything like they're doing. Make it mainline. Get more of those out there. I don't get it. You're repainting the figure. You're making the weapon stiffer. You're giving us a card back. That actually costs money. At the end of the day, everything is based on budget and costs for the entire year. And I guess just constructing the retro weapons for the Snow Serpent and the Cobra EEL just would have been too costly. So I get it. Look, I can't go any higher than a 3.25 whiskeys. I mean, it's a repaint. It isn't retro. Is it a great figure? Yeah, it is. I mean, like the one in the middle is a perfect 5. I have no notes. And I give the classified Cobra EEL a 4.5 out of 5. It's an amazing figure, and it's classified, so it can have a sleeker backpack and the spear gun. It's classified, but this is supposed to be retro, and they just gave it some slight paint apps and a little stronger weapons and a different color tone on the face scan. Everything else is the same. It's not retro. It's probably the most disappointing retro figure we've had in a long time. All right, coming in at number 2 is the other army builder, the Snow Serpent, the retro Snow Serpent. At least with this one, there was more of an attempt to go retro. Clearly from the brighter retro 80s blue on the left. I think overall they did a decent job at this one. I'm not as mad at it. Obviously, our secondary web gear is really different because it's just so blue and so bright on the left, which I absolutely loved. It had the darker navy, which is, when you're doing classified, you want things darker, edgier, modern. It makes sense to have the navy blue with the darks, and then you get, of course, like the silver buckles over there. So great job. There's even a little bit of silver paint there, where this is all the black is now silver. Really pops. He did a wonderful job. Our tampo that we have there is now off the retro, trying to get as retro as possible. All the holsters, web gear, you see the buckles, everything like that. It's pretty clear to see that they made drastic changes all the way down to the boots and the gloves. Pretty much everything else is the same. You do still have the nice paint wash onto the gauntlets and all the fur. It's really nice, really excellent job that they did. They didn't cheapen out on that and make it too cartoony. Actually has a nicer paint wash on the retro than it does here, although you get still that paint wash here. As far as the grays, I think they're pretty much the light grayish white there. I think you're pretty much 1-to-1. And so the classified version has a darker Cobra insignia than the brighter red, so that's pretty cool. Everything else seems to be the same, of course, besides the blues. The holster quality seems to be the same. And obviously with the face scan, you had like a brown, which pretty much represents you could see the person's face. This time it's a full mask. It's just all black, capturing what we had with the retro. And not much to report on the back, just the different colors as far as the blues. And of course you got more of that paint wash on the back. So they didn't cheapen out just because it was on the back of the figure. There's still a nice wash. You get some grays thrown in there in addition to a darker tan, like rustic dirt. So that's a really cool touch that they did, even with the retro. All right, once again, when it comes to accessories, Lenny wasn't messing around when he said the quality of the plastic on the weapons would be better, because this is the deluxe Snow Serpent, and it's, super flimsy, gummy, warped. And then this Glock is pretty stiff, so not too bad at all. Obviously, we're not getting the tennis racket snowshoes that we should have got with the retro, but they're a brighter white, and then you get that darker kind of grayish white for the deluxe. And then with the retro carded Snow Serpent, we also have these shades. They seem to be the same mold as Snow Jobs. Now that I look at it, they could be slightly different. The strap seems thinner. As you may have heard by now, we've got Dusty's backpack and the FAMAS F1 combo rifle. These are decent selections. Again, these are not entirely retro. The backpack I'm less worried about. It's a backpack, but the gun is a cool gun. It's an underrated classified gun. Just not having the mortar, the AK, the racket snowshoes. I mean, just not going retro. It's the same issue that we had with the Cobra EEL, just less so because he's got a better blue and a little better reuse. I guess the only issue I have with this backpack is that there's no functionality more. So you can't put the rifle there, you can't put the snowshoes there, you can't do much with it. The Classified Deluxe Snow Serpent was one of the coolest figures they ever made. I thought the wolf pellet was great. I thought the only problem with it was there were so many accessories that I needed another body to give it. Now we've got these retro carded. You can kind of mix and match, share accessories. We still don't have the classic retro accessories, but that said, they did make enough changes to at least justify calling this a retro. It's not perfect, it's not close. I'm going to give the retro carded Snow Serpent a 3.5 whiskey compared to the 4.5 excellence of the Snow Serpent. Again, if you don't have this deluxe, then this is a way better figure than 3.5. It's just comparing that. It's what I'm doing. I'm comparing the retros to the classified. But I want to know, what is your preference between the classified and the retro version? Let me know in the comments. I'm super curious to think. Some people just might want the old thing and they're okay with this kind of classified up dude with the wolf pelt and all the craziness that he comes with. Or just some quick comparisons before we take off into the #1 position. We've got Arctic Mayo Storm Shadow and the Cobra Battle Android Trooper. And lastly, we got Snow Job with both forms of Snow Serpent. But before we get into the #1 choice in the latest retro classified series, I got to give you an update on Classified Beachhead. He's been like this for a long time. Hey, you got 3 eels, you're going to need 3 Scuba Joes to battle them in this Gridiron Beachhead Scuba set. I thought was unique and a way to justify having the Cobra Island Beachhead while we've got the retro version. That said, we'll do a real comparison of what we had and what we have now. #1 clearly is retro carded Beachhead. And like I spoke about in my last G.I. Joe classified ranking video, go check that out when you're done this one. But it's about the brilliant reuse. Reuse is the name of the game. It's about how you do it. And this Beachhead is Commando Snake Eyes. I mean, he's just nearly identical. And we'll start with the accessories for funsies. You got the C4 satchel. Same as Commando Snake Eyes, same thing as far as quality. It's about the same. There's no like kind of gumminess. They're both stiff packs. And we got our 45 with suppressor. The only difference is with the Commando Snake Eyes, you got a nice lighter green handle where Beachheads is all black, but pretty much the same thing. And without suppressor. And as far as the quality, a little gummy. It's probably a slight, maybe a 5% better plastic, but pretty much the same. Still a gummy weapon. As you can see, there are slight differences into the leg holsters. Totally digging the straps that go to the utility belt. Where Commando Snake Eyes just had holsters and sheaths without any strap going up. You got a different size sheath here because you got his green knife, one of 2 knives. It's somewhat gummy, but I do dig the green. It's got a nice light green to it that matches all the other weapons. You put that one there. And then he's got a leg sheath that you'll put here. I think those are the correct ways to put the knives in. I'm not exactly 100% on that, but he's got 2 knife sheaths. Boots, they look slightly different, but they're not. They're the same. There's the front of the boot. Same there. Looking into our pants, same thing, same kneecap, same design on the pants. Of course, you got the camo here. Well done. Nice job by Tony. Get the same diaper, same stitching. I'll go across, go to the back. Now, it does look like his boots are actually a little taller now that I look at it. So there might be a slight differential. Let's see if we can get a good side-to-side comparison there. I mean, no. Oh, it's tough. They look so close. I'm going to just say they're the same. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong, because from the back end, it does look slightly higher there on the boot cut, but everything else is the same. And then on the back, of course, he's got this bulletproof vest, so it's going to be different. Looking at the arms, same design. Get the same pockets, you get the same cufflinks, same gloves. So he's got the green kind of like knuckle protection there. Same thing. Same exact thing. Like we said, we got things flying all over the place. And then quickly we get those flashbang grenades, smoke grenades, whatever. Pretty much one fell. I don't feel like digging for it right now. I want to crank this review out, so I'll have to find it later. But yeah, same thing. All right, Beachhead versus Beachhead. It looks like we got a little bit of a different sculpt, but it's the same. It's got the same design, and everything is just painted differently. Underneath, I'd say it's more expressive on this side. It might be, it's really, yeah. It's actually the opposite of Firefly. If you remember, retro Firefly was more like this, more cartoonish. Cobra Island Firefly was a little more fierce. This one seems more serious, where this one seems more cartoony. And then you get the same neck with that webbed up gear, despite having different torso. Everything is different. Obviously, pins in the arms. Yeah, just completely different legs, everything like that. So it's crazy. But this is how you do it. This is how you gave us an all new, not all new as far as use, but with Commando Snake Eyes, you're giving us a new Beachhead. You're not just repainting what you had. And there's a look at the web gear, completely different. No more nerfs. We finally have the Demro XF7A Wasp submachine gun. It's the same one that came with Firefly. Oh, there's a comparison, just different paint. Now, the first of two accessories that are identical is the backpack. There is absolutely no difference. I mean, I think the grayish black might be slightly lighter in the Cobra Island version, but it's damn near close. We might have a little darker backpack on the bottom, but you're not going to be able to really tell from this video. And we got these Nerf crossbows. They return, but no big deal. At least it matches everything else that he's got going for it. This was, of course, Cobra Island. If you really wanted to, you could put this red beret on Beachhead, but he's got it right here tucked in his shoulder, and you can't remove that, so I wouldn't. And in case you thought I forgot, here are the 3 stands that come with the retro figures. While I don't use them, I think it's awesome that the Snow Serpent came with the white one. I gotta big up my big dogs, Tony's Figs and Baldy's. They both crushed it in the review, with Tony comparing his custom Beachhead, a spectacular version, versus the retro Beachhead, and Baldy doing his thing, being creative, giving history lessons, and asking, what does everybody want? Beachhead. But yeah, Beachhead is the clear-cut winner of the wave, no doubt about that. These aesthetics pretty much capture what we had as a kid. The Commando Snake Eyes Stalker Grunt reuse is spectacular on that note. Some of the weapons are iffy, they're hit and miss. But otherwise, as you can see, Cobra Island Beachhead was cool. Definitely still a good character to this point, except for probably the worst floppy legs and for a very long time. The joints on this Beachhead are much stiffer, so you'll be happy about that. Overall, this guy's a knockout. I'm going 4.75 out of 5. This Beachhead Retro is one of the best classified figures of 2024. Well, that about sums up the ranking of the newest G.I. Joe Classified Retro figures. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. We go live on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. And do like the video. And if you love this video, check out my G.I. Joe Classified ranking playlist, as well as the latest G.I. Joe Classified wave ranking. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with my top 3? I think most of you are going to, but if not, I'd love to hear it. Till then, guys, for Toy Kind of Mood, I'm Trav Moody. I'll catch you in the toy aisle. Peace.